Mrs. Olive here, and today I'm going to show you how to do a maze escape with the Sphero robots. And I'm also going to talk about my expectations for the Spheros and some of the extra things that you get to do. So first things first, this is the robot I'll be using. Look carefully at that. Is that a Sphero Bolt or a Sphero Spark? So this one's actually a Bolt. You can tell because it says SB. SB stands for Sphero Bolt, and then there's the numbers. So always check your sticker to know how to sync your iPad to your robot. You can also tell it's a Bolt because it has this fun LCD pattern on the top. So you can do some fun different light patterns as part of your victory dance for getting through your maze. So I'm going to show you the maze that I made in just a moment, but first I want to talk about some of the extra things that you have to do your Sphero maze escape. So this year I'll be giving you 2 tunnels that you can use to indicate where the Sphero is going to start and where the Sphero is trying to finish. And this finish is optional. You can just have the Sphero roll out of your maze to be done, but if you want an extra challenge, you can try and aim it through the tunnel, okay? This one's gonna be really important to start your maze so that you can make sure the robot gets set down in the exact same place every time, all right? I'm also giving everybody some of these. I should be able to give everybody 2. You might get 2 orange or 2 blue or 1 of each. And you can put these in your maze to keep the robot from rolling too far. So you might decide where to put them as you're coding, depending on if you're able to get your robot to stop when you want it to stop, okay? So these are gonna add a little bit of flexibility with your coding. Basically, if the robot came rolling this way and was going to hit the edge of your maze, you could put one of these in the way so it would roll up and then roll back down and stop, okay? So we'll see if we can't figure out how to use these. They are not for jumping over and then rolling out of control out of your maze. That is not what these are for, okay? So if I see you using a ramp to actually launch your Sphero into the air, I will take your ramps, and don't be surprised if I take your robot for a while and you have to write me an explanation of what the ramps are actually for, okay? They are to keep your robot from hitting the edge of your maze in different areas in your maze as you're coding, okay? So now I'm going to show you the maze that I made so that you can get an idea of what you could do with your rods. Here's the maze that I made. You can arrange your rods and connector balls however you would like to, but it's a lot easier at first if you give yourself 3 rods on each side, okay? And this one down here doesn't have a rod so that the ball can actually escape. So your Sphero robot ball can get out. So, but I did make a 3x3 cube pattern, and then you can see I would want my robot to start right there and go through my maze this way and out. So if you look carefully, you can predict how many blocks of code I will need to get through this maze. So think about it. Think about what you know about the code that we're using. I already showed you a little. You might have already had a chance to make a cube. Draw a square with your robot. How many blocks did you need to make your square? Well, you had to go up, that's 1, right, that's 2, down, that's 3, and left again, that's 4. So how many do you think it will take to get out of this maze? Okay, let's count. It'll be 1 block here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I'm going to go through this maze with you, showing you how I do this with the iPad so that you'll have a better idea of how you can be successful with the maze. Here's the maze that I set up. You can see I have a tunnel here to start my maze. I'll be putting my robot there every single time. And then there's my tunnel at the end of my maze that I'm going to try really hard to aim for so that I can feel like, yay, I made it out of my maze. All right. I still have my ramps ready just in case I need them. As I code, I might have to put them out. All right, so I'm going to remind you how to put your robot onto your iPad. So go all the way to the end, go into this folder, and go into the Sphero EDU app. I'm just going to click off of that. So we're going to go over here to Programs. And as you can see, there's already some programs here. Please go into your program after you create one. All right, you should get the same iPad every time and go into the program with your name on it. If you trade partners, then use either your partner's iPad or your iPad and go into the same program. So you can just put your name on it. Okay, so down here is the plus button to create a program this first time. Make sure that you have blocks selected. Make sure that you have Sphero Bolt or Sphero Spark. You need to know which one you have. I have a Bolt. And make sure that you put your name on it. So I'm just going to put Mrs. S really quick. And then you can see my name right there. And then create. So now I have my nice workspace, and this is where I'm going to be connecting all my code. Up here is where I sync my iPad. Okay. So right now I only have 2 robots here. You will be able to see all of them. So it's really important that you know which one to connect to. You can kind of tell which one is closer. This one is really far away because there's no blue lines on it. This one is probably mine. So I'm going to check my numbers. It says SB5426. So that is my robot. Tap on it. It takes a while sometimes. There we go. It's already connected. Okay, now I need to put this robot in the same place every time, and I need to aim it the same way every time. So even if you're sitting in a different position around your square than your partner, you're going to aim it towards whoever you aim it at the first time, okay? So I will kind of explain what I mean here. So if I put my robot here to start, when I aim him, remember, here, my robot is right inside the tunnel right there. So when you aim, you need to tap on this button and you aim your tail light. And remember, it says right there what to do, okay? So I want my tail light to face the same way every time. Okay. So you probably couldn't tell, but I aimed my tail light so that it is facing straight back. So if you and your partner both sat on this side of your square, then forward for you would also be the same as for your partner. If you sit over here and your partner sits over there, then one of you is going to have to figure out which way forward actually is because you're not sitting on the same side of your square. So I'm going to sit over here on this side of my square. So as I'm coding, 0 degrees is going to be that way. This is going to be left. This is going to be 180 degrees back. This is going to be a left, and this is going to be 0 degrees forward. And then when I get over here, it's going to be 90 degrees down. Okay. So I'm going to code my first block here. So we're mostly going to be in movements and dragging up these blocks that have the 3 choices. I'm going to zoom in nice and big here so you can see. So this is going to tell me which way my robot is rolling. So this right here would be considered a left turn. It says 270. I know I need to go straight. All right. This next one, is going to be my speed. You can actually tap on the number there and delete what you have and type in the speed. Please stay under 50. If you go over 50, I will know and I will take your iPad. And then you'll have a robot, but you won't have an iPad. Okay. I'm going to start out with 1 second for my duration and see if that works. So the run button, the start button is right up there. Okay, and as you can see, that was perfect. So now I stop it right there. And my turn is over. My turn is over now. So I would pass the iPad off to my partner. Don't move your robot until after your partner decides what to do next. So to me, it seems like if I go 50 speed for 1 second, I should be able to get through each of these turns. So I'm going to drag out another block, and I'm going to turn this one to a left turn and go at the same speed, 50, and the same duration, 1 second. Before I run my program, I need to put my robot back. So here's another expectation I have. All right, not only is your turn over after you push the start button, you hand off the iPad to your partner begins coding. You wait to put the robot back at its starting spot until your partner is ready. And then if you have the iPad, your partner is putting the robot back. Okay. Do not try and hold the iPad and the robot at the same time. Okay. So I'm actually going to put this iPad down since I don't have a partner in my chair. If you don't have a partner for whatever reason, you can get a chair and you can put the iPad in your chair while you are moving the robot back. You cannot have the iPad and the robot at the same time. All right, my robot is in its original position right over there. I am going to aim it so that its tail is pointing this way. Aim it every time you set it down, okay? Sometimes you won't need to move it very much. Other times it will be really out of whack. So I'm going to start my program. Okay, and that was perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and code the rest of my maze, and then I will show you the rest of my maze coding, and then we'll see how my robot does. I've been coding for a while. I'm going to show you my code and run my robot through my maze so far. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks of code, and my robot did 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. You would think that he would be right there. Okay, we'll see. So I'm gonna run, start my code. We'll watch my robot. Okay, my robot did not make it all the way there, so I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna look at this last block. Can you tell me why my robot did not move? If you're looking carefully, you can see that I have 0 here and 0 there. So I need to put some numbers there. So this time my robot is going to go from here all the way over there. So I might need to triple the number of seconds. I'm still going to keep my speed at 50 because Mrs. Setlove said my speed needs to be at 50. And trust me, I will be able to tell if your robot speed is higher than 50. So something else I want to look at. My robot is not really far enough up in order to start going to the right. So if it was just your turn and you just ran the robot code, then you need to give your partner the iPad and your partner can debug. So this is where it's really important to communicate with your partner and talk together, but then let your partner put in the code or debug your code. So a bug in your code is just an error in your code that makes it so your robot does not do what you intended it to do. So I'm going to guess that this code right here, I did not have enough seconds. So I'm going to delete this and put 2 there because that was the second to the last thing. That was basically the last thing that the robot did. Okay, so now I'm going to have my partner move my robot back, and then I'm going to run it, and then my turn is over. All right. Okay, there's my robot. Aim it. Okay, and start. Okay, so it hit the edge of my maze. Stop my code. My turn is over though. I have to let my partner debug. Okay, I can give a hint to my partner about what I might want to change, but my turn is over. So hand it off to your partner. Obviously, going up, oh, this one right here, this last one, my robot didn't even get to do because it hit right here when it got this 2. So I'm going to delete this and make it 1.5. Yes, you can do half of a second. Okay. Okay. So at this point, you see my robot hit over there. I might decide to put a ramp right there to keep my robot from going too far. This would be a perfect chance to do that. So I'm gonna use this orange ramp and go set it right there against that spot where the robot hit. I could also put this blue one where the robot hit the wall over there, okay? Okay, and I should need one more block of code here to finish my code. So I'm gonna go, oh, what direction is it? To the right. It looks like it should be down because my camera's over here, but I've actually been sitting over here this whole time. So that would be a 90-degree heading, otherwise called a right direction. And I'm going to give it 50 speed because Mrs. Sello says 50 is fast enough. And I'm going to do 1.5 seconds so that I can try and get out. And you can see I have a tunnel right there to see if I can't get my robot to go straight through the tunnel. I'm aiming my robot and I'm going to run my code. Uh-oh, I have a bug, so I'm gonna stop. I think that I might actually need to try something called a stop block. So the stop block is this one, and I can put it in between any of these. So let's see. I'm just gonna set that there for a second. So my robot hit that ramp right there and then was too close to the wall still and went that way into the corner. So I can put the stop right after where it would hit the blue ramp. So I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one. So I'm gonna take that off and put it right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. I can also change this maybe to a smaller speed, or I could try a smaller distance. I know 1 wasn't enough, so I could do 1.25, otherwise called 1/4. You guys, 1 1/4 of a second. You could try using some math skills like that to figure this out. Okay, I'm going to reset my robot and see if this helps. Okay, so it got stuck again. I've got some bugs. I'm gonna see if I can figure it out, and then I will come back together once my code is all debugged. All right, my code is all done. I'll zoom out so you can see it. I decided to put a stop in between every single roll block so that my robot would come to a complete stop before doing the next code. And I think that helped a lot. And I just got my robot to go all the way through my maze before I started this video back up. But I noticed a few times that my robot did not perform the code exactly the way it did the last time, randomly. So it might not work this time, but let's see if it does. Oh, and he almost made it out. He got stuck on my tunnel. Yep. Okay, but I am so close, and I get to do what's called a victory dance when I finish. So when your robot is out of the maze, raise your hand, call me over, show me that you finished your maze, and I will show you how to do a victory dance. Until then, you need to stay in the roll menu. Let me show you. Let's stop that so you can see. So you need to stay down here where it says movement, but there's all these other things that you can do. And there's some really neat things here. Communications, events, comparators, it says, communications, events, variables, all sorts of really interesting things, which you'll be able to explore once you get out of your maze, okay? But until then, we are staying in, let me scroll all the way back. We're staying in the movements tab, okay? So that is about it for the robot maze how-to. I just want to talk a little bit more about some of my expectations. All right, so I want to end with just a few more expectations. We already talked about how you do not get to hold the iPad and the robot at the same time. You are also not allowed to put the iPad on the floor, because if someone is going to the bathroom or getting up to turn in their books and they don't see your maze in the way, because people sometimes don't look down at their feet when they're walking. And so if your iPad is on the floor and someone else steps on it, you are actually the one in trouble, okay? Because your iPad cannot go on the floor. So like I said, if for whatever reason your partner is not there or you don't have a partner, get a chair from the stack of chairs and then you can set your iPad in your chair, okay? If you are getting up to go to the restroom, to come and find me, to show me that you got through your maze, to go turn in your book, for any of those reasons, there's really no other reason why you would want to get up, okay? But if you are leaving your maze, watch where you're going. Do not walk through someone's maze because you might kick a robot, okay? These are worth hundreds of dollars. And I don't know what would happen if you kicked it and then it was broken and no longer worked, okay? Because we would need to replace it somehow. And that should not come out of my library budget. So we would be having a conversation with your parents. One year I had some students rolling the Spheros with their hands like they were regular old toy balls. These are not toys. So I want to be very clear. When we are doing robotics, we are coding robots, okay? We are computer programming to escape a maze with a robot. We are not plaguing, okay? There is a way that you can drive around inside the Sphero EDU app with a little joystick. I'm not even going to show you how to get into that because that's not what we're doing. We're programming it to go through the maze, picking it up, putting it back at the start, and trying the next code, okay? We're not going to drive it around at all. If I see your robot acting really weird and it's not even in your maze, or maybe it's in your maze, but it's not acting like it's getting code, and I can tell that you're driving it around, I will take your robot, and then you'll have an iPad without a robot. So make sure that you are coding instead of driving your robot around. All right. And that is about it. I know I said that we're not playing with the robot. that we're actually doing computer science, but it is really fun and we're probably going to get really loud. So try and keep your voice down. Your partner is right next to you. You do not need to be shouting to tell your partner what code you think they should put in, okay? And at the end, please make sure you listen to my expectations for cleaning up and coming back to the rug and then lining up so that we do not have a loud line, because we still need to be quiet in the hallway even though we are doing exciting robots in the library, okay? You will need to practice lining up instead of getting to use the robots the next time I see you if you don't line up quietly today, okay, or the current day. So remind your classmates to come to sit on the rug and be quiet so that you can line up properly. For whatever reason, cleaning up dysregulates you guys. Maybe it's because you didn't quite finish getting through your maze, so you're frustrated. Maybe you're really excited because you got to do some really cool celebrations with your victory dance with your robot. Whatever the case may be, people oftentimes get dysregulated when it's time to clean up. I still need you to regulate yourself. I'll be putting on calming music. You'll be breathing calmly while you're cleaning up, bringing me your robot and your iPad, and then bringing me your maze parts. Bring me your robot and your iPad, then go back and start cleaning up your maze. That's how we're going to do that, okay? We are also going to get the materials to make our maze first. Choose a spot, sit down and make our maze, and then show me your maze, and I will give you your robot and your iPad. So don't come and get your robot and your iPad first. Go set up your maze first, okay? I think I pretty much covered everything. I hope that you enjoy robotics. Our learning target is I can program a robot to escape a maze using Blockly code. Okay, so that's it for robots. I hope you enjoy it.